As we are talking about printing, it's important you understand about color in inks and how the designer uses color definitions in his work. This here is a color swatch from a coloring system, a matching system called Pantone PMS. It stands for Pantone Matching System. It's a process color system. Uses CMYK to describe various Pantone colors. Now Pantone creates inks, a whole bunch of inks, which are spot colors used on the press. Here is an example of on the right side, the actual Pantone colors of the actual ink. Notice up here it says a solid color. And here's the 4 color process colors that make it up. For example, this red right here, it's a solid red, and you would use Pantone Red 032C. But to mimic that as close as possible, you would use this formula. There is no cyan, but there's 91 parts magenta, 87 parts yellow, and no black. That is as close as you can get it. This is the Pantone matching, trying to match that at least. If you want that exact color, then you'd mix a color off of the press and then put it on, and you'd be able to create that solid color. Now here you have the actual Pantone formulas, as you can see here for this particular color. There's the formula: 20% cyan, 65% magenta, 65% yellow, and 25% black. That formula you would type in to your color formula. It may look a little different on the screen because your monitor may not be calibrated to represent that actual color, but if the printer can match this, if they are geared to the Pantone system, you can count that if he prints it on glossy paper, as you see here, that color will come out just as it is. Here's a swatch book showing the various colors used on coated paper. Coated is smoother, it doesn't absorb the ink as much, and so you get more brilliant colors. Here's an example of uncoated. The swatches are printed on uncoated paper. Not the cover here, but the other paper here is uncoated. You can see it's not as reflective, and so you get an exact reproduction of that. Now going back to here, notice that they don't quite match up. The PMS color doesn't quite match up with the actual solid color ink. That's because the gamuts are a little bit different. It's because, excuse me, the gamuts between RGB and CMYK are different. That's why you don't see the same colors on the monitor as you do on the actual coming off the printing press. But here you don't do that because you've got dot gain and there's other controls that cause the colors to shift just a little bit. If you want that exact color solid, you have to use a spot color. Now, if you look close enough to this, because there's percentages, there's a 60% cyan, 87% magenta, you're going to have a screen pattern in that. Looking closer to it, you notice there's a texture and it's not solid. So that's another reason you wouldn't want to go to PMS and go to a spot color. The reason you might want to go to PMS is because if the CMYK colors are already on the press, it's easy to just use those and mimic that color. It's more economical.